Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Clown World with AJ. I didn't really know what to name this stream, to be honest. So I was like, I'll just call it Clown World. I was going to cover a bunch of different topics about Canada, UK, censorship, etc. But I'll wait until a few more people get into the chat. But I'm sure you guys have heard about the recent tariffs between Canada and in America, and they're most likely going to be lifted. So that's a good thing, the steel tariffs. So, that's a positive for business. And I'm not going to give credit to Trudeau and be like, oh, he did a good job. Like looking at what Trump got out of it, he clearly got what he wanted. He got Canada, or he's going to get Canada to stop, getting metal from China and then repackaging it as our own, then reselling it to America. That's pretty much what he wanted. So he got exactly what he wanted with the tariffs. So a lot of people are saying, oh, this was a bad move. They were completely wrong about that. He got most of the things he was asking for. But, I'll go through a few other things. There's this other thing. They got like a face scanner now in the UK to scan your face, and already they're charging people for trying to hide. And I have a feeling that people that wear hijabs and Muslim garb are going to have an exception for this face scanning thing in the UK. But that's typical. They got one rule for native Europeans and then another rule for Muslims and other groups that they bring into the country. They do this on purpose. It breeds division among people when you give one group special rights and another group not these special rights. If you have a country, everybody needs to follow the same rules exactly, and there can't be any exceptions whatsoever. Let me check out the chat. Hey, Gabriel Lopez, how's it going, buddy? Long time no see, man. Hey, Kel, I was going to watch a movie. Oh, sorry about that. Which movie were you going to watch, Kel? Hey, Jesus. Hey, RIP. Hey, Luke. How's it going? Honk, honk. Yeah, I love this Clown World meme because I think it works perfectly for society right now. Every day I look in the news and I think it's like an Onion article, but it's the real thing. It's a real article. I'm like, oh my God, this like, we are in a state of insanity right now. And that's probably one of the best memes for it. Hey, friendly white guy, how's it going? Name's Patrick. Oh, hey, how's it going, Patrick? Got a company coming any second too. Oh, sorry, Jesus. The Dark Knight, it can wait. Oh, The Dark Knight. Did you guys see the trailer for that new Batman movie or the new Batwoman movie? I should find that right now for you guys and show it because it's pretty terrible. It's like this movie is gonna do horrible in the theaters. I guarantee it. Batwoman, it's called. Trailer, I guess. And I don't necessarily even want to ruin it, but it's as bad as you expect, right? This is pretty much what I mean by Clown World. Oh my God. Okay, this is the first trailer. It's got 29% dislike. Oh my God, like 70% of the people, of the 2 million people who watched this, disliked it. Okay, here I'll screen share this for you guys. This is hilarious. Okay, 1 sec here. So look, this is the trailer. Batwoman, first look trailer, 29% dislike. Trailer, Ruby Rose, 11%. So okay, I'll watch the slightly longer one because maybe, I don't know, it's got something.
Crows represent order, security, safety.
Batman gave up on us. The Bat's not coming back.
Something's up. Eyes everywhere.
More strong female roles.
Shall we believe that those will protect us?
Agent Mora, do you copy? Do you copy?
Sophie's missing. I thought you should know.
Hey, Dad.
We're gonna find her.
Then let me help.
Bad idea. Where'd you get this?
This girl looks like she's 70 pounds. That's what I hate about movies nowadays. It's not realistic. It's like she can't beat up anybody.
What happened to staying out of it?
You think if you give her a cool haircut, she's going to be able to kick ass now? She's a lesbian and she's a dyke. Like, of course. And they're multiracial as well, you know? But hey, I'd watch that. I'd still watch it. Like, you know.
Something you'd like to report to your squad?
I'm gonna take you down.
You ran in with a proper backup.
Take it down. I do not want her getting in the way.
Okay, enough of that. You know, I think you guys got the picture. It's crap. It's gonna be terrible. You know, I don't know what to say about that, but they have to do every movie, every TV show, every commercial. It's like a gay multiracial couple, and you know, there's too many strong female roles and leads now. You know, like the Game of Thrones, right? Like I like Game of Thrones, but god damn it, like wait, like the last season especially went like hardcore on the feminist angle, and apparently there's a version of Endgame, the Avengers movie going out, and there's an edited version without all of the feminism and gay shit. Like there's an article written about it, and they're like, there's a terrible version of the Endgame going around that cuts out all the, in quotes, gay shit and feminist crap or whatever. I'm like, oh well, good. That's exactly what we need. Hey Andy, how's it going? Hey, a saint. They're laying it on thicker. Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. Come on, Chupa, get out of here, fucking asshole. Seriously? Yeah, she is a carpet muncher. Of course, they had to make her lesbian, right? Like, how else? How other strong woman lead? You know, they got to be a dyke too. They got to throw that. I'm surprised she's not transgender, right? There's going to be an uproar of people. Why isn't she a dyke? Why isn't she a dyke? This is bullshit. That's what happened with that one girl for the Avengers. She said she wanted more diversity in movies, so then people started a petition to get her replaced with a transgender actress. But I'll go through some the news that I have up for today and whatnot, but screen share here. I will start with, one sec here. I don't know, it's loading. Fucking cat. All right. Asylum seeker sentenced for sexually assaulting vulnerable psych ward patient. So I'm sure you guys have probably heard about this. It's happened a couple days ago. So Owo Labi Adi Ho. See, we shouldn't allow people into our country with names we can't even pronounce. But this guy got in illegally anyways. A Nigerian man who somehow managed to illegally enter, maybe it's the big hole in our border, to illegally enter Canada despite having recently been charged with assault in the United States, will be spending at least the next 4 years of his life in prison. Whatever his name is, was sentenced to 52 months in prison this March for committing sexual assault in a psychiatric ward in Montreal, one that officials say they are unsure how he ended up in. The assault took in February of last year, only 1 month after entering Canada. So after 1 month, he also filed for a refugee claim. The only months prior was accused of assaulting 2 men in Baltimore, this time with a beer bottle. You know, highly unusual and somewhat unsettling. Galiatstatos also says that the lack of information known about Adi Hoho was highly unusual and somewhat unsettling. It's not clear how Adi Hoho, Jojo, whatever, entered the country or was able to be admitted to the psych ward, right? Like, how did this guy who has no papers, no documents, nothing like this get admitted to a psych ward? I twisted my ankle a few months ago at work because I hopped over something like a wall and I landed on a rock and twisted my ankle pretty bad. And for some reason, Canada, they deleted or they canceled my health card because I moved and they called me and I didn't call them back or something because I'd moved or they sent a letter, but they just canceled my shit. So then I showed up there. I'm like, they're like, oh no, well, you got to pay us in order to see the doctor. So I had to pay them like $100 every time I went to go see them back because I had to wait weeks. And then they never even reimbursed me either. They're like, oh yeah, we'll reimburse you. I'm like, and they never did. So I was like, okay. But this guy who has no documents, is a criminal, is somehow able to get into a psych ward and be put there with nothing. But I can't even get into a walk-in clinic. Fucking Adi Jojo assaulted a 57-year-old woman who was admitted to the ward by court order. I'm sure he didn't pay to get in either, with money. Like that's the thing, there's people who are here, like permanent residents and stuff, who are here like using it on a visa and stuff. They're not allowed to use our free healthcare system. They have to pay for shit. So they're just like, oh, you got no documents, you don't got a health card, you don't got anything. Okay, we'll let you in. Committed his crimes 3 times over the course of 2 days, assaulting her in the cafeteria. The victim was unable to consent and was largely passive while they occurred. She did ask Adi Jojo to stop during the first assault. Due to her mental illness and her significant distorted cognitive abilities, the victim was unable to realize that she could decline to participate. Her state of vulnerability was manifest. So, the judge told CBC that the information known about Adi Jojo's is limited. He was born in Nigeria and has a wife and 3 children in the United States, living there with no status for 3 years before leaving them to seek asylum in Canada. He has no job, family, or ties to Montreal. Like, what the fuck? He has no official criminal record in the U.S. He was arrested and charged with assault in October of 2017 for attacking 2 men he'd been staying with in Baltimore with a broken beer bottle. The charges were suspended, meaning that they were set aside for a year, but prosecutors have the option to reopen them if desired. So I don't know why they put the charges aside. So now this guy was just let loose, and then he's like, oh, I don't want to come back if they reopen the charges, so I'm going to flee to Canada because Trudeau opened the borders wide open. And Ralph Goodell and all these people, assured us that everything would be fine. So background checks are typically necessary for any and all asylum seekers. Bill Blair, the federal border security minister, was asked about the case Tuesday. So typically necessary. So what do you mean by typically? So why wouldn't you just say necessary? Why are background checks necessary? Why do you say typically? Why add that? Well, they're typically necessary. According to the Radio Canada, Adi Jojo continues to be the problem for officials even while in custody. According to Statos, Adi Jojo was also charged and convicted of assaulting a correctional officer at a detention center. Also throws a milk carton at another officer. He then threatened to find her family and kill them. Like, insane. Adi Jojo will reportedly be released from prison in just over 2.5 years, with the decision noting that he will almost certainly be deported once released. Almost certainly. So not definitely. How is that not a definite deportation? Well, he'll most likely. How is it even a most likely or an almost certainly? It should be he will be deported after this amount of time. But, they're going to leave this loose language in there because he probably won't be deported. He won't be. Here's another thing. Canadian Forces Afghan Memorial dedicated in ceremony 3 days ago. Officials decided to limit publicity. So there was a dedication to the soldiers who died in Afghanistan, and it was kept. There was not a release or, I'll read the story. The Canadian Forces confirmed Thursday evening on Facebook that it had held a dedication service at the new Afghanistan Memorial Hall at the National Defense Headquarters, Carling in the West End of Ottawa. But that happened 3 days earlier on May 13th. The event was attended by senior Canadian military leadership and department management. No press release was issued. The decision was made by officials to keep event quiet and only to release the news via Twitter and Facebook at a later date. Families of the fallen were not invited to the dedication ceremony. No explanation has been provided for the decision to delay the announcement or limit the publicity other than it was an official decision. So Trudeau, his administration is like, nah, we're not going to commemorate all the people that died in Afghanistan. It's like, even if the war was bullshit, doesn't mean you can't, commemorate the people that died and sacrificed themselves for what they thought was fighting for their country, right? Like, that's what a lot of them went there thinking they were doing. So to keep it, he did this on purpose because he doesn't want any type of backlash, probably from his Muslim community followers or et cetera. And it's disgusting. He doesn't give a shit about the troops whatsoever, and he consistently shows it time and time and time and time again. And it's like, fuck, man. The hall and the memorial are not open to the general public, but will be made accessible to families and fallen upon request. So on later dates, right? But it's that is just typical of Trudeau. He's like, oh, I don't want to offend my the Muslim people by giving praise to these people who died. I don't know, maybe killing some of them. Well, it's like, hey man, whatever. There are soldiers. If it offends some people, big fucking deal. Who cares? So this is in Winnipeg here, and we have a fucking polygamist family, and this guy murdered his wife, one of his sister wives, and tried to put the body in a barrel and let it decompose. So woman tells murder trial she helped hide body in barrel because I genuinely feared for my life, which this is the card women play all the time. They're like, she was probably the one who told him to kill her because she didn't like her or something. And then he did it. And, because she was like, I don't like her as my sister wife or something. Who knows? But, people will always play this card and people always buy it. And they're like, oh, okay, well, you'll get a lesser sentence or no charge at all. But, what was this? This guy, he said that Jen was an accident, but he was going to kill me intentionally and enjoy it, witnesses testified. The woman who says she helped hide a body in a barrel filled with chemicals testified she worked and committed fraud to fund a household run by the man accused in Jennifer Barrett's death. Holly Sullivan, 30, said a Winnipeg courtroom Friday she did all of that because Perez Cleveland had total control over her after years of abuse. He probably could have told me to try and catch the son, and I would have done it, Sullivan told jurors at Cleveland's first-degree murder trial. Cleveland, 46, had pleaded not guilty to the death of Barrett, 42, whose body was found in a barrel behind their Winnipeg home in 2016. Earlier this week, court heard that Cleveland shared the house with his adult daughter and 5 women who were described in court by one of them as sister wives. So Sullivan told court she started dating Cleveland after they met while working at the call center in Toronto in 2010. She was 21 and he was 36. Accused was very charming. So, all these Muslims, they're having these polygamous relationships in these houses and shit behind her closed doors. And nobody knows. Nobody's the wiser of it. Or they're just looking the other way. At first, the relationship was like a honeymoon, Sullivan said, but then it turned abusive. When she moved in with Cleveland the following year, she learned that another woman he was in a relationship with also lived with him. Sullivan decided to stay. So Well, you stayed, you idiot. Perez was very charming, she said, yet she described years of physical violence in the household. On one occasion, he threatened her with a meat cleaver while she was stripped naked and wrapped in duct tape. Another time, he tied her to a bed and attempted to sexually assault her, Sullivan said. He also threatened to hurt her family if she ever tried to leave. So yeah, the whole victim, I did nothing, it was not me. I stayed because that's where I thought my loyalty was too, she testified. Sullivan took on the role of breadwinner in the household, working various jobs and carrying out debt card fraud schemes to pay for rent, food, and other expenses. So, people, they come to our country, they have multiple wives, and they commit fraud and fucking all this shit, scams. Courts heard that, they're bringing jobs and wealth. They're doctors and engineers. Court heard that the unusual group, which Barrett joined in 2012, had moved to Quebec and British Columbia before settling in Winnipeg in 2014. Soon after, Sullivan was jailed for a credit card scam she said she carried out at Cleveland's behest. Following her release in 2016, he basically told me he hated my guts and everything that was wrong with his life was my fault, Sullivan testified. He blamed her for his financial problems. By the time of her release, 2 more women had joined the household, including Jessica Reed, who testified Thursday about beatings in the home with hammers, golf clubs, and extension cords. So, what are these women doing? It's ridiculous, but it's like they have no autonomy, right? They're all going to be, oh, well, the man made them do it all, and they were just poor innocent victims alongside, and they didn't say and do anything about it, and blah blah blah. Cleveland's lawyer has argued that Reed was jealous of Barrett's relationship with Cleveland and acted violently towards Barrett, a charge she denies. Reed is also charged with being an accessory after the fact, but her case has not yet gone to trial. Perez had an uncanny knack of making them think the abuse he inflicted on them was their fault. Oh, he was just so manipulative, and I'm just a dumb idiot. She told court that in August 2016, Cleveland began to punish Barrett over several days in the basement of their house because he believed she was cheating on him. Black and blue from head to toe, there were bruises, welts, and burn marks on Barrett's body, said Sullivan, who added she helped the woman shower because she couldn't lift her arms. So if you see this person who's black and blue and all this shit, that's when you call the cops. She said the beating stopped until Cleveland got a phone call from someone who claimed Barrett had cheated on him. That's when he started yelling and told me to leave the basement, she said, adding she left the house with 2 other women. Jessica Reed stayed behind. I didn't see Mrs. Barrett again, she told Crown attorney Chris Vanderhooft. I never saw her alive again. Cleveland later told her Barrett had died and asked her and Reed to dispose of the body. Sullivan said she researched liquid cremations online, a job Cleveland gave her because she had studied science in post-secondary school that I'm sure we paid for. So, our government educating these people is going to looking up chemicals to dissolve bodies where, hey, you went to school, so you can Google, right? Like, yeah, anybody could Google that shit. You don't need a degree, for Christ's sakes. The 2 women placed Barrett's body in a barrel with a mix of drain cleaner and water. So she's not a very good student either, right? Not a very good student, Sullivan said. They heated up the barrel with a blowtorch to speed up decomposition. When asked why she continued to live with Cleveland after Barrett's death, Sullivan said she was under his complete control. So that's insane. They heated up her body with a blowtorch in a barrel with drain cleaner and water. These people, you have to be fucked in the head to do that. I genuinely feared for my life and my family's life, she said. No, you could have, and you're in Canada. You're not in Somalia. You can't fucking, where the police will rape you when you go complain about rape. Jesus Christ. If you cannot listen, then you must feel. Sullivan said after Barrett's death, she started using meth for the first time and her addiction became another source. Blah, 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 blah. She's dumb. these people are fucking disgusting. You know, fucking, oh my God, I don't know what to say. But yeah, no, so Canada, US reach deal to lift steel and aluminum tariffs within 2 days. So, you know, this is good news. And, you know, this is just good news for manufacturers and stuff like that. You know, I haven't looked too much into the deals. And obviously, it's still not going to be exactly as good as it was before because we're not going to be utilizing the loopholes that this closes up, because this story is trying to make it seem like Trudeau won on this, but really, I think it's probably like Trump came to him, was like, "All right, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. We'll get this deal. You concede on all this shit. It makes it your voters are stupid. They'll think that you know you negotiated this, but." The deal also includes a monitoring system to watch out for any potential surges in the metal markets, a commitment to stop the importation of aluminum and steel that is unfairly subsidized or sold at dumped prices. So that's a pretty important one right there. A promise to prevent the transshipment of aluminum and steel made outside of Canada or the United States to either country. So yeah, you know, he's trying to close up the loopholes, which he was able to do with the tariffs. You know, otherwise Canada would have never closed up those. If it was just like, can you please close those loopholes? They'd be like, no, fuck you, right? We're making tons of money off of this. Why would we close these? But either way, it's better. It's good that way, because still now that's more of a free trade now. Like we, you know, we shouldn't be getting cheap steel from China and then repackaging it as their own and then selling it to America, right? So then it's just like a loophole for China and these other people to get into the American market, you know, to get the same deals that the NAFTA gives us to other countries, but they don't have to pay the same price or anything like that. So it's complete bullshit. But let me check out the chat here. I haven't checked it for a little bit. He can shrink heads, blah, blah, blah. Let me check here. Cellar Dweller. AJ, what do you think of Darren Rant's vid he posted yesterday? Oh, yeah, I saw that video. That was pretty crazy. The video with Derek with the 3 questions about the Christchurch shooter. Did you guys see that? If you haven't seen it, I recommend you go check out Rant's Derek in his newest video, because he points out 3 really weird things about the video, and it makes a lot of sense why they're not showing it and why they're charging people, I don't know, putting them in jail for like 10-15 years if they show the video. Because when he's shooting the gun at one point, it looks like the clips are disappearing, like the shells, and then there's another point where he's shooting through glass, but the glass doesn't break. Like he's shooting a shotgun through the windshield 3 different times, but it doesn't shatter whatsoever. And then there's another part where he comes into the video, sees a clip. YouTube took down Derek's 3 questions video already. Are you serious? Oh my God. He fires. Did they actually take that down? No way. Hopefully he didn't get community guidelines. Did he get a strike for that? Let me see. Yeah, I don't see it. Yeah, it's gone. That's fucked up, man. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, I know, man. And it's suspicious. You know, the government has done false flags before. So they'll tell you, oh, you're crazy for even suspecting that something fake could happen. Well, I'm not saying it is, but the government has lied before. They've lied about things in the past, and they will lie about things in the future to try to get us into conflicts, to try to take away our rights. It's pretty clear what they're doing. Like, look at what Trudeau, he signed this Christchurch shooting thing, I can't remember this Christchurch thing when he went to New Zealand. And that's just to censor the internet and get extremists off the internet. So that just means people like me and you guys. That's what it really means. But that's crazy. He already got it removed. But hey, that's how you know he was onto something. That's for sure, man. He's definitely onto something. You're wrong. You're the wrong color, AJ. I am the right color. Call your MP. Okay, I'm gonna go up here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Laying it, Batwoman. Okay, Carpet Muncher, familiar. If you guys have a specific question, put my name in there so I see it, because sometimes I'll look over the stream afterwards and I'll notice I missed some people's questions. So it's not because I ignored it. A lot of the times it's because sometimes I just missed it, and I'm trying to read, like, the comments, and I miss a bunch of them. He fires the shotgun through glass and nothing happens. Well, Maxime Bernier said he wants 250,000 or less, right? Like, well, he's starting to come out, and I think he's starting to debate open. Like, he released that poll a little while ago. It's like, how much immigration do people want? And then 70 to 80% of his fan base, or the people that are sub to him, like, put 100,000 or less. So I think that he would definitely go lower. And I know it's not perfect and stuff right now, but the enemy of good is perfect a lot of the time. So it's, if you want something that's going to be, hey, okay, a moratorium on immigration, a party like that right away, that's going to actually get some steam. Maybe that's a little bit too much to fucking hope for at this moment, but because a lot of people are completely brainwashed, and also a lot of people don't know what our immigration rates are at right now. Anyways, a lot of people think that it's like at 100,000 or 150,000 anyways, right? So I could definitely see him reducing it over time. But yeah, I don't like that. And I don't like the 250,000, obviously, because that's still too much, mathematically, and with our birth rates, that's still way too many people to be bringing in. But yeah, it's what are you gonna do? I seen AJ Global. Let me screen share a little bit more here. Got a few more articles and videos I want to show you guys. Okay, one sec. My Google Chrome is it sharing? One sec. Is it sharing? Okay, it is sharing. Okay, good. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have heard about this. So the Amber Alerts, people keep calling and complaining when they get the Amber Alerts early in the morning, when like a missing kid is missing or something, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? But there's a recording that I have right here that they're showing, and this guy's just a piece of shit, man. It's like, if there's a little kid missing and you get woken up because of an alarm, it's like, man, fucking, like, kids, we have vehicles right now. People can move a good distance. It's good to get a lot of people in a huge radius. And it's not like it happens continuously. It happens every once in a while. But I'll play the 911 call. But it just makes me lose more hope in humanity. And people, they're calling 911 to complain. Well, you're not supposed to call 911 to complain about shit, right? It's not a hotline, you morons.
Emergency, do you need police, fire, ambulance?
No, I want to know the Charlotte Junction, Sudbury. Okay. I want to know who the hell is sending these alerts, or what right do you have to send an alert out to Niagara Falls? Wake me up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, sir, it's an Amber Alert for a child that's been abducted.
I don't give a okay? I don't even have to have it on my phone from Sudbury, all right? I don't know. Your mind? We have nothing to do with that, so. Well, I know. I'm not blaming you personally. You have to understand. What would you like me to call to complain? Because this is bullshit.
Stop giving me alerts. I don't give a shit. Yeah, so I guess it's not really too big of a deal, but there's always going to be those assholes who are like, why the fuck did you wake me up, you fucking pieces of shit? They're like, hey, this is a good thing that technology is actually bringing. Now we could actually maybe find kids quicker, potentially, right? They're like, oh, fuck no. It's inconveniencing me. I got woken up. Now I have to go back to bed. Calm down, you fucking assholes. So China formally arrests Spaver and Kovrig, accuses them of spying. So now they're finally arresting these, or like, not arresting them, but pretty much like charging them, right? And one comment I saved down here, they're like, Guy St. Jacques, one of the Canada's former ambassadors to China, said their fates are likely already sealed. Once you are formally accused in the Chinese system, you are found guilty in 99.9% of the cases. What we'll have to watch now is what is exactly the nature of the accusations and whether the penalty could include the death penalty. We're dealing with some very difficult people. So that's insane that they're going to this length. You know what? If they put these people on death penalty, then I think we should bring back the death penalty and put that woman on the death penalty in return. We'll be like, fine, you want to play hardball? We can do the same too. We'll put her on fucking death row and see how you like it. Fuck it. We'll see if they attack us. That will instigate America to come to our aid, and then they'll wipe out China for once and for all before they get too powerful. There we go. It'd be a good strategy. No, maybe don't do that. But that's fucked, man. That two people, and there's that one guy who has been convicted, or who is being sentenced to death. He appealed his death sentence, but nobody's talking about that. Nobody's mentioning that. And I think we're going to start to see Trudeau and Trump in the future shortly start to kind of team up a little bit against China, because China is still dicking us around really hard, and even no matter how much Trudeau wants to suckle up to them, like he's almost forced to work with Trump now, and forced to actually probably do better things in some circumstances, right? Like this whole trade war with China that's going on with Trump and America and China, and the Huawei being extradited, in my opinion, has probably helped us in the long term. Short term, yeah, I'm sure it hurt some things, right? Like canola exports and other exports, because our government had no foresight to find new markets for our produce and products and stuff like that. Because obviously, we're dealing with some very difficult people here. So, you're dealing with the fucking Chinese, and you don't expect them to be like bitter assholes and take your people in return and arbitrarily detain them, and probably like the one guy who's detained said that they gave him food like every other day. They fuck with you, and they don't give you the same courtesy that we give them in our country. I'm not saying we should be like them. Like I was kidding before about putting her on death row and shit, but it's ridiculous, and we should have stopped dealing with this country a long time ago. And we need to align with America, and other countries like Europe need to align with America to combat China and shit. But we'll see. I think maybe they will start to slowly in the future because China is just kind of getting a little too big for their britches. And look at this guy. This is a journalist. This is a journalist. Hi, Lysak. Do you have a job? I wonder what your employer thinks of you making a sign that has been co-opted by white supremacists and racists. Would be interesting to find out. Or maybe a future employer is interested. ... Like, look at this scumbag, right? Because look, see, this guy, he writes David McDowell. I don't know. He's a journalist in Ireland or someplace in the UK. I forget. I can't remember. But he's like, that controversial OK symbol that's been in the media a lot this week and linked to white supremacists. Guess what? Finn's party pursuit activists have been caught on camera using it as well. Dum, the OK symbol, and this guy's like, and look at it. It's like, do you have a job? Do you have an employer? Like this black guy. Hi, David. He's just watch. He's not gonna say anything to this black guy, right? Which he doesn't. Watch, but you'll see if you look at his feed, he talks to a bunch of other white people, and he's like, "Do you have an employer?" But I'm not gonna respond to this guy. That guy looks weird. The Pope. This is what I mean by we're in clown world. We're in a clown world. That's what we're in. Oh, see the Buddha. Even the Buddha. Obama. This is one of the best. This is one of the best like memes or trolls to ever come about. To be honest, like it's like a world troll. It's like we're like literally trolling the world, and they're falling for it. But see, he says it, and then he goes to another guy. I don't know if these people have jobs, but I wonder what their employers would think about them making signs that are closely associated with and used by white supremacists and racists. Yeah, right. And at one point he says to somebody, he's like, I never said I'm going to report them to their employers, etc., etc. But it's like, well, it's kind of what it sounds because look at the responses he got. 900 responses, 6 likes, 10 retweets. Like, delete your tweet, man. Delete your tweet. Look at that, 1,100. Like, but this has been shared around a lot. Like this tweet right here. But look at this guy. Like, who is he? Who is he? Scottish journalist in Finland. Editor, News Now Finland. I don't know. Fox News, this BBC, or I don't know, a bunch of crap. Just scumbag though, Now this is fucked up. This is messed up right here. So I can't believe what I'm seeing. While running a facial recognition pilot, one man, understandably in my opinion, covered himself up. The police forced him to show his face and then fined him for disorderly conduct. This is dangerous and terrifying, so...
Don't cover my face, I cover my face. Don't push me over when I'm walking down the street. How would you like it if you walk down the street with someone back yourself down? You go, that's you.
What's your suspicion?
It's the fact that he walked past clearly.
I would do the same. I would do the same.
Gives us grounds.
No, it doesn't.
The chap told me down the road, he said he got facial recognition. So I walked past like that. It's a cold day as well. As I've done that, the police officers asked me to come to him, so I've got me back up. I said to him, off, basically. I said, I don't want my face shown on anything. If I want to cover my face, I'll cover my face. It's not for them to tell me not to cover my face. I've got now £90 fine. There you go. Look at that. Thanks, lads. £90. Well done.
We ought to explore all technology to see how it can keep people safer, how it can make policing more effective. However, we are completely aware of some of the concerns that are raised, and what we're doing with these trials is actually trying to understand those better so we can actually protect human rights but also keep people safe at the same time.
Crazy shit. That's some crazy stuff. No, it's insane. Not true. Hold on, let me check the chat up here. Let me see, make sure I didn't miss anything. Hey, everybody who just joined. I see AJ was fake. Totally crazy. I don't believe at this point. I really don't. They use the church and pictures of crying Muslims to push this agenda. Yeah. You know, I really don't believe it at this point. Muslims don't belong here, period. It's craziness to force them on us. You know who controls Canada? Look overseas to a certain occupied state. You know, the Palestinian state. We need the Hungarian program. Well, I think it's more complex than honestly just Israel controlling us, because it seems like lots of people are trying to control us, right? China's trying to control us. Foreign, other, just lots. We're just open for business. Our politicians are just sellouts. It's also, you know, I think based on the system itself that kind of just helps create this mess. Faith Goldie versus that blonde bimbo. Tommy Lauren, full contact mud wrestling. What do you think? My money is on Faith. Yeah, I think Faith would probably win because she's like a lot bigger than Tommy Lauren. I think Faith would probably kick Tommy Lauren's ass, in my opinion. That would be fun to see. Fuck the UK caliphate. Hey Fred, how's it going, buddy? Fucking UK is the new live action. What's that? But yeah, the UK. And you know what? Have you guys heard about that new gender thing on Snapchat, where a bunch of trannies are getting mad now because they're like, you're you know, appropriating my face that I'm working really hard to get, right? And the thing I'm more worried about, the Snapchat and all this other stuff, is the facial recognition stuff, because that's what really this company is probably doing with this stuff. Is they're getting your face, and then they're gonna sell it to the government. They're gonna sell it to companies. Like your face, your facial recognition, all that. That's just data. You know, the most expensive, the most valuable thing today is data. So, you know, you got to be careful what you're actually giving up. See, same. Faith Goldie versus that blonde bimbo. Okay, sorry, I read that. Let me check out a few other stories here, and I got popped up. Let me bring it up. Let me share. I have a little issue. Come on, shit. Stop being slow, you cunt. Stupid cunt. This is fucked up here. Okay. I'm not going to play this one. I'm going to play the longer versions because... should I full screen it?
Sunday morning.
This is in this is in New Zealand after the Christchurch shooting, and it's increasingly becoming like the UK, and Canada is going to be like the UK very, very fucking soon, especially with these new laws that they're proposing for hate speech, which I have a couple stories up about that, where they want to start fining people. That's one proposition, to start to fine people instead of put them in jail. He's like, well, I don't want to put people in jail, so I think we should just fine them. It's like, oh, well, okay, that's nice. I guess I'd rather be fined $500 for saying a mean thing about transgender people, but it's still ridiculous. And yeah, this is what's gonna happen to us, but you'll see.
We've got police officers out front. See what they want. How you going? Just want to make sure we get. Just wonder what you guys can come on. I invite you on. Okay. So what's going on? What's I'm Nick. Yeah, I'm Nick Bush. Yeah.
The reason we're here, it's basically down to the recent events in Christchurch with the shooting there. Right?
Yeah.
Based on that, sort of a number of people have been identified who we've been tasked to go and speak to. So you're one of those people. That's
Really?
why we're here. Yeah.
So what specifically?
So that's
what's
what I
that?
want to talk to you about. But I'm not really comfortable discussing this with you while I'm being filmed.
No, I think you should be because, you know, I mean, you come here on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
It's 10:15, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
And you come here onto my property, and now you want to discuss something.
Yes.
So I think we need to get a record of this and make sure that whatever you're doing, coming around here, and I notice you've got your gun on your hip there, and presume the lady here's also got a firearm.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, great. Okay, well, but hey, you've still got one. So you come around here, and you're, well, I'd say, you know, intimidating with the firearm, right? And if you want to, if you'd like to talk to me, that's fine, you know. But you know, I'd like everyone else in New Zealand to know what you're coming to talk to people about, right? And what's the issue, especially on a Sunday morning, you know.
So are you willing to speak to me off camera or not?
No, I'm not. I think it's important that people understand the direction New Zealand is going, right?
Right.
And
Just give
that
us
you,
an idea,
that
right?
put the police officers, okay, I'll find, you know, if you're becoming that sort of,
What time? So you've obviously, I understand that you're upset that we have.
I'm not upset. I'm just interested in what the police have become,
All right.
and what they're becoming
Just
a
hear me out.
suppressing agent politically. They're being
Hold on,
politicised.
just-
No, I think that you guys need to realise, what did you guys join the police for?
It's not about
What
that.
did-
All right. Listen,
Isn't it?
Just hear me out.
You have to ask yourself some
we're not gonna spend
questions.
too long here, right? If you're not willing to speak to us off camera, then we won't speak to you. We'll leave. Okay?
And so what will happen after that?
I don't know. Look,
What almost like
what's happened is
another officer will come during the week, and obviously if we see
Well, Sunday morning,
coming
you know.
on Sunday
well,
morning.
when is a good time?
well, a good time is when you want to talk. If you want to talk to me, we want to be able to. I would like, instead of you coming here and not in secret, but in sort of like, if you want to talk to people in New Zealand, then it should be open, right? And tell people exactly what you're asking them.
That's what we're here
And
for.
and-
We're here to talk to you openly, but not like this. Not with
Why not?
being recorded.
why not? Because are you scared that you might act a bit too intimidatingly, or
Am I being intimidated?
well, you've come here on a Sunday morning with a firearm.
When
That's
is it-
intimidating.
When is a good time?
And especially when you told me you said, look, you've come here to discuss the Christchurch shootings, and
I didn't say
no,
that.
you said
I said
people have been identified,
Yeah.
right? And
Anyway, I'm not
how
gonna get into
have
this.
you
If you're-
identified me? So you've been, I presume it's Facebook,
I'm
right?
happy to discuss that with you, but
Yeah.
not on camera. So
No, well, I'm not.
I'll ask you again,
I think it's super important that people understand what you become political agents to. Okay, so come back whenever you like. We'll discuss it. Bye bye.
Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. That's New Zealand. Coming to Canada very soon. Get ready to have people come to your door telling you that you're doing mean tweets on Facebook. It's just a matter of time, guys. Just wait for it. AJ, did you hear about the Muslim who spit in a baby's face screaming white people shouldn't breed? Yeah, I heard. Was that recently or was that like a year or so ago on a bus? Yeah, I did hear about that. Have you seen the French police beating up on a man with double crutches for being around? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that French guy, French protester beating up police, beat up crutches. French. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you can find it, send it. Later, I'll play it. But yeah, that's that. I have seen that video though. Faith Goldie. Oh yeah, versus the blonde. Yeah, no, I would like to. Recently, I posted the link. You did? No, I don't see it. Oh, right there. Okay, hopefully it doesn't shoot me out of here. Okay, good. It does. It didn't. Son, what is it? The son man escapes jail after spitting in 9-month-old baby's face and screaming at stunned mom. White people shouldn't breed. Yeah, that was from 2017. Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, but you know, was that guy charged with a hate crime? No. No, he wasn't. Keep the batteries on your phone charged so you can film it. It's reaching. I'm gonna put you in timeout. There you go. I posted the wrong link. He was sentenced last week. Sorry. Okay, he was sentenced. Good. Was he sentenced for a hate crime? Was there a hate crime charge in there at least? I saw that New Zealand YouTuber, I don't know what the cops actually blocked off his street and humiliated him in front of the neighbors the second time they leaned on him for his opinions. Yeah, that's fucked up. Like, just having the police waste resources going to people's homes to investigate mean things they said on Twitter, and like Trudeau started a whole task force finding this type of shit on Twitter and Facebook and social media. Like, how much money and time is spent doing this while he's ignoring everything else that is going on, all this other crime that is going on. We got polygamists in Winnipeg putting their wives in buckets trying to decompose the fucking bodies. Like, that's what the fuck is going on right now. Ah, fuck. Took me out of the video. This is 38 minutes, Fredrick. I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that, Fred. What are you, nuts? Hold on. Now. AJ Elicits. 1 sec here. Trudeau means signed into liked videos, comments. Am I signed out of fucking YouTube? Am I still? What the hell's going on here? One sec, guys. It signed me out for a second there. I was like, what the hell? When I clicked on Fredrick's link, brought me something else. It's 20 seconds. Whatever. Yeah, no, I saw that. It's playing the trick on you where it signs you out. Yeah, it signed me out there when it went me that link. I don't want to click on it anymore. But yeah, you know, it's fucked up. There's countless examples of the police beating up the yellow vest protesters. Lots of people have lost eyes, and I think a couple people have died. An old lady died. A couple old people have died. But the media, if this was going on and it was like a right-wing government doing this to left-wing protesters, they would be losing their shit. It would be on the media each and every day. There'd be like the catastrophe in France that is going on. Oh, they're beating up these Antifa protesters. They're just trying to protest for peace and yada, 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 yada. But speaking about the police and the UK, right? Here, I'll show you this. Like this is an actual real article from Metro Police. Here, this is ridiculous. 1 second, still sharing. Met. Okay. One moment here. It's just loading. So Met Chief Cressida Dick, terror attacks made police look too macho for women. This is a real fucking story. Okay? I don't know. Maybe I should play a little bit of the video beforehand. Okay, no, I'll read a little. I'll read it. Okay. The macho image of male police officers dealing with terrorist attacks and the Grenfell Tower disaster could be putting off women from joining the Met. Scotland Yard Chief Cressida Dick said today. She said the terror attacks in London in 2017, when mainly male firearms officers were deployed on the streets, and the Grenfell fire in the same year had led to a mistaken view of policing as a very physical service. So it's not a real physical service, guys. Apprehending criminals and stuff. Well, yeah, it's not a physical service in the UK. Have you seen the police in the UK? There's like countless videos where there's like criminals like just making them look like fools. They look like fools. I saw this one where there's this like black guy or this Muslim, I don't know, and there's like 3 cops and he's just like dodging them and they're just trying to catch him. It's just pitiful to watch. And yeah, the UK police are the one of the biggest joke police on the entire planet, and this is exactly why. And Trudeau wants to make our police force identical to this. Like, see, the UK is like a canary in the coal mine for a lot of different things, because like what they're doing, the way their country is, we're right behind them and ahead of them in some areas, but behind them in other areas. But Miss Dick told the Standard, people have got it in their heads that you have to be supremely fit or strong, when actually the vast majority of our officers most of the time are not using huge amounts of physical strength to get the job done. Yeah, because they're on the internet looking up hate crimes. They are using their communication skills, their problem-solving skills, and their analytical skills. You know, a 70 IQ criminal does not listen to people. You know, as somebody on meth wielding an axe trying to kill you is not going to listen to your fucking problem-solving skills and your communication skills. You fucking idiot. Jesus Christ. This is why a bunch of girls were getting raped by Pakistani gangs. Well, maybe not this reason. There's probably other reasons too, but you know, this doesn't help. Also, because they were, you know, having sex with those underage girls too. A lot of them, the police, you know, fuck those bastards. The Met Commissioner said more had to be done to challenge the stereotypes and the myths of policing as a macho culture. Oh my God. It should be a macho culture. You don't want little women policing people. That makes no sense. We're living in clown world where people think that people that like see that Batwoman movie clip I showed earlier, the trailer. This is because people, they watch shit like that. They see little 70-pound girls kicking grown men's asses or something, and they're like, oh, well, I can do that. No, you can't. You'll get crushed. You'll get destroyed. Like, what the fuck is the matter with people? You know, you had that woman in this video here that I was showing earlier, and she was just kind of in the background, looking all timid while the male cop went and talked, and she's kind of in the background, like, oh, okay, looking down, all like, you know, I don't know what to do, right? This man is yelling. Don't raise your voice, sir. But it's like, come on, man. I'm not saying all women cops are not going to be competent. There's definitely some women that are going to be very competent, but you don't need to diversify the police force. That's just stupid. Pure stupidity. But her comments came as she attended a service of Thanksgiving at Westminster Abbey today to mark 100 years of women police officers in the Met. Last year, the force launched its first recruitment campaign focused on women entitled Strong. There are around 8,000 women in the Met, which is about 27% of the officer workforce. But Home Office figures show the Met has a low proportion of women officers compared with most other UK forces. Only those at the City of London and Cleveland are lower. Ms. Dick said research has shown two possible reasons for a reluctance among some women in London to consider police career. In some of our minority communities, there will be more questions asked about joining the police than there might be in others, she said. We are working hard to address this. For instance, our Association of Muslim Police have lots of capable women officers, and they are working really hard to get the message out. What are they doing? They're probably going to other women and being like, "Hey, wear a hijab. Make sure you wear the hijab." And then and they are working really hard to get the message out that Muslim women can thrive and have a really important role to play. Yeah, let's diversify the police force and with a bunch of people that hate you. Secondly, she said, we have observed that the major incidents in 2017 of the terrorist attacks. Yeah, we need more Muslims in the police force because of all these Islamic terrorist attacks that are happening lately. Yeah, that's a great idea. They're not going to overlook and look the other way when they see something out of the ordinary. No, why would they do that? That makes no sense. Very physical service. People have gotten in their heads you have to be supremely fit or strong, a sort of macho image. So this woman can't do anything. She get punched out in 2 seconds. She added, of course, we need confident, resilient people, but I think there is still some way to go for some parts of the wider public not to see policing as primarily a male-dominated job. Miss Dick, who has said she wants half of London officers to be women, pointed out that many detective teams were now 50% women, something unheard of 30 years ago. So that's why everything is focused on finding out hate crimes and hate speech laws and shit, because you got a disproportionate amount of the police force that tend to be women who care more about people's feelings and making sure they're not hurt. So they'll be like, yeah, we should make this stuff illegal. We should police this. We should dedicate stuff to this. About 2,000 people were expected at today's Westminster Abbey. Either 12 women officers paid tribute, blah, 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 blah. But just nonsense. Like, this job shouldn't be physical. What is this myth that we have to be strong and
we have been for the last 8 months. Today marks the day when the first pioneer women were seen in their uniforms ever on the streets of London. And the world has changed so much, the Met has changed so much, and now we have women in every role, at every rank, and we're celebrating not just those early pioneers, but all women in between who've achieved so much. And really, those women are, as they say, upon whose shoulders we stand, the current generation. We wouldn't be where we are today without them. I mean, we've run a very big recruiting campaign, and that will continue. And we're seeing the number of...
Look how fucking manly she looks.
Female applicants go up quite considerably as, I think, a result of that campaign. We already have about a third of the Met is women, but I think it could be much more. And in particular, amongst police officers, it's only 27% at the moment. And I don't understand why in the...
That's the problem with these fucking leftists, is they're always just looking at everything and they're just trying to equalize everything. We got to equalize it. They're doing something in America now where they're adjusting, they're adding adversity scores to the SATs. And this is just a way to get more minorities into universities. And a lot of the people that one of the guys that made it, or one of the guys that was pushing it, even that's what he said. He's like, this is our way to try to get more minorities into universities in an indirect way, because we're not allowed to directly do it. But this is like an indirect way of doing it, where they're like, well, what's your socioeconomic background, et cetera, and then they'll boost your scores depending on that to try to equalize the numbers. As they're talking about, well, since we've changed this, I forget what the program was called. It was like Strive program, I think it was called. The Strive program, that's what they implemented. The minority or black representation went from 37 to 43% in a few years, or a couple of years, right? So it's just this thing to equalize the numbers, right? And it's just complete bullshit, because to these people, all group disparities is the result of racism and prejudice. It has nothing to do with biological differences, cultural differences, anything like that. It's all racism committed by white men. That's all. It's very easy for these people to think and to come up with their own solutions, because it's the problem is very simple. It's just white men. It's the patriarchy. It's white supremacy. It's this, it's that. If we just get rid of white men and we reduce the amount of white men, then things will be better. Then we'll all have wealth and prosperity, and evil, bad capitalism will be gone. And speaking of capitalism, right? So this is an article from The Nation. This is from The Nation. And this is exactly what socialists want. So she's like, want to dismantle capitalism, abolish the family. And this is legit article. She's asking her about this book that she wrote. This is like a back and forth conversation about how abolishing the family is how you get rid of capitalism. So people always bitch about capitalism. Capitalism is not bad. People they're trying to destroy capitalism. They've been doing it for years. They've been slowly chipping it away, little by little by little. So feminist theory, which is just a synonym for Marxist theory, that's what feminist theorist, so Marxist theorist Sophie Lewis, I wonder what's the origin of the last name Lewis? Somebody go look that up for me. New book look at how rethinking pregnancy and the idea of family as forms of labor is central to emancipatory politics. So arguably the most infamous demand of the Communist Manifesto is the abolition of the abolition of the family. The family, Marx and Engels noted, was where patriarchy and capitalism worked in tandem to produce willing, alienated workers, where women became little more than instruments of production for the men who lorded over them. Radical queer politics in the 1960s and 70s added to their critique of the bourgeois family when activists challenged the heteronormativity of familial relations. So that demand, however, has since almost completely vanished from the leftist but yeah, so it's like, it's all capitalism's fault, blah blah blah. And they want to abolish the family because they think that a woman who is staying at home and having the husband take care of her is like her suffering and laboring and stuff. Well, yeah, she is working. If she's a good wife, she's fucking working. I hope so. I hope she's at home. If you're working, and bringing home money and shit. She better be fucking taking care of the kids and cleaning and making food and stuff like that. Because if she's not, then she's a lazy, terrible wife. That's just the plain fact of the matter. And it's like, it's not a bad, it's not an oppressive, it's an equal role, you know, like you get to stay home with the kids and play with the kids. He has to go work, and there we go. But now it's obviously a lot more different now. So this whole thing doesn't even really, this whole argument really doesn't even work anymore, because a lot of women are working, or these women are just like, I don't know, promoting abortions. I'm sure she has no kids. She probably gets gang banged by like 5 dudes a night or something. Guarantee it. Sophie Lewis, a feminist theorist and geographer, in your geographer, takes up this forgotten struggle in her work. Her new book, Full Surrogacy Now, Feminism Against Family, specifically links family abolition to a radical reconceptualization of pregnancy itself. The act of carrying a child to term, she insists, is work, labor that has long been exploited and overlooked by the academy, and so is mothering. So, you know, this is the whole feminist Marxist bullshit that, yeah, women, it's this unpaid labor that we're not taking into account. But what they're also not taking into account is that most money that men make goes to their wife, goes to the woman, goes to the house that they both share, goes to the food that they both eat, goes to the things, goes to her clothes that she wants to buy. You know, like, she's not getting paid for her labor, though. It's like, what do you mean she's not getting paid for her labor? You know how much a house costs to live in, and food costs, and clothes for your kids, and education for your kids? What the fuck are you talking about? But this is why only low IQ people buy into this stuff, right? Because they don't think, they don't use their brains and understand the actual exchange that is going on there. It's not a oppressive situation. It's an exchange. You know, you're exchanging labor, and you're helping each other. You're dividing labor amongst each other to make your lives easier. Like, you know, this is why civilizations expand and explode, because of the division of labor. You know, because if you are like a guy who does everything, and that's how everybody lives, then you're not going to be able to specialize in anything. And without being able to specialize in anything, you can't have professions that, you know, like these artisans that know how to build crazy buildings, because that's what they can focus on specifically, while other people till the farms and do all this other stuff, right? You know, it's the division of labor. By thinking through the logic of commercial surrogacy arrangements, Lewis lays bare the ways motherhood has been weaponized as an ideological construct. She gives it's not an ideological. Every animals, there's mothers that animals, is that an ideological construct when a deer mothers its doe? Like, what the fuck? She gives us an account of the material conditions, the biological and societal violence that gestators, or people who are carrying gestators, this is what she calls, or people who are carrying fetuses. Look at the way she's talking about this. She doesn't even want to say mothers or like pregnant women. You know, like, I think she actually wants to live in some type of hands made and tail thing where women are just breeders and this and that. This is what she gets at when you read the article. She wants to take away the whole concept of mother and fatherhood and make it like kids belong to everybody, essentially. It's just crazy shit. or people who are carrying fetuses have to bear. Like, this is how fuck these people. She probably thinks a baby growing inside of her is like a cancer growing inside of her. Her book shows us that the ostensibly feminist objection to surrogacy arrangements underwrites the ossified and alienated familial relations that make capitalism possible. What? Okay, well, we've had families forever, and capitalism is new, anyways. So, like, it's true that breaking up the family will fuck over capitalism because it just creates a bunch of single mothers that are dependent on the state. And then they have a bunch of kids that are low IQ that are also going to be dependent on the state. But last month, I sat down with her over a cup of tea at the nation's office and talked about why rethinking gestation is central to an emancipatory politics. Like, talk about pregnation, gestation, how we can use surrogacy to subvert oppression, and what kinship beyond possession, beyond capitalism, beyond patriarchy could look like. Our conversation has been condensed and edited for clarity. How did you get started on thinking about surrogacy as kind of work? There's a line in the famous Wages for Housework manifesto that goes, "Every miscarriage is a work accident." Oh my God. The whole conversation in academia about surrogacy is focused on the reason why the practice exists in the first place, as if the labor that the gestators were doing were separate from the gestating that people do at home. Like, oh my God, these people, they listen to their words. I find it productive to put that question aside and just look at the workplace. Certain feminists, I think, react to the realities of how babies are sometimes commodities and how sex has become alienated and for sale by blaming the people who are working in these industries when in fact the problem is capitalism. No, you're just degenerates. Stop blaming capitalism for your own degeneracy. Oh, well, you know, there's just too much money and wealth, and it's that's what's creating my degeneracy. It's like, no, you're just a degenerate. And you have no morals and principles. That's what's doing it. I found myself stating the obvious. Gestation was work already before it got commodified as commercial surrogacy. So how do we build a politics that bridges these two workplaces and builds solidarity between paid and unpaid gestators? What the fuck? Stop calling them gestators. It's a central idea to feminism anyways, that mothers are natural entities. They're making choices to look after this other person. It's not some sort of mechanical automatic process. It's a practice of grounding sociality. Mothers nurture, but they also kill and abuse their wards. That's why it's so valuable to denaturalize the mother-child bond. What the hell? They want to denaturalize the mother-child bond. To do anything otherwise is to devaluate that work. That's the horizon that I think opens up the space for a revolutionary politics. So they really want to brainwash your kids. So, like, that's the only way. Currently, the whole logic of surrogacy is to exercise. Well, this is your question. But to be more specific, how does surrogacy as a praxis generate space for a revolutionary politics? What does it mean to demand full surrogacy now? Currently, the whole logic of surrogacy is to exercise the surrogate from the family picture. The whole point of being a surrogate is that you are never really there. That's something I want to challenge, the idea that babies belong to anyone. The idea that the product of gestational labor gets transferred as property to a set of people. That is actually one of the revolutionary horizons that the Sisterhood of Black Single Mothers advocated for, how children should belong to no one but themselves. No, it's stupid. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my whole fucking life. Kids belong to nobody but them. Oh my God. This is why they want to destroy Christianity too, because it says respect your parents, respect your father, your mother, listen to them. But they want to sever that tie that you have with your parents, with people who have the best interest out for you compared to any other person. Like, obviously there's some bad parents out there in there, but on average, the most parents care about their kids and want the best for them more so than a stranger wants for those kids. So, to break that bond, and those kids do belong to those parents. They should have a right to how that kid is brought up and what they're taught and learned and this and that. But these are statist fucking leftists that want to rip your kids from your home and say, oh, they're not your kids, they're the state's kids, and we're going to train them how to be little statists and how to care about the state and not the family. There's a wonderful theorist, Indiana Saracen, who very helpfully gave me the phrase impossible concept to describe how surrogacy functions in my book. If everything is surrogacy, the whole question of original or natural relationships falls by the wayside. In the sense, what surrogacy means is standing in for one another, caring for one another, making one another. It's a word to describe the very actual but also utopian. So, fact. Utopian fact? I don't think those two words go together. Utopian fact that we are the makers of one another. The utopian fact, I don't know, maybe I'm just uneducated, which is probably true, right? Census demand for real surrogacy, a commune. It's so funny, these people, they want communes and shit, but what you want can only be achieved with a massive government. You can't have communes. That's why, like, anarcho-communism is just an oxymoron, and these communists, they don't know what the fuck they want. They're useful idiots. A proliferation of relations rather than a continuation of a logic. Surrogacy. That is about propping up the proprietarian, biogenetic, nuclear private household that is our main kinship model. Just speak in English. Just speak in English. That's what I want. Propping up the proprietarian, biogenetic, nuclear private household that is our main kinship model. What the fuck are you saying? That's the really interesting way to rephrase the stakes of your project, that full surrogacy can be conceived as your call for family abolition, for the broadening of the sphere of relations between people. It sounds scary emotionally when some people hear the phrase family abolition. But when we say we want to abolish the family, we're not talking about taking away the few relationships and infrastructures of love that we have in this world. Of course, the private household and the family are where so many of us get the vast majority of our nourishment and solace. The question that family abolition is interested in is whether that's good enough, whether that's a good thing, that there is such a scarcity involved. We know that the nuclear private household is where the overwhelming majority of abuse can happen. So what are you saying? That kids will be safer in foster care or something? No, that's where they will be abused more. They're going to be, kids are safest in their home. Where we know the nuclear private household is where the overwhelming... What do you mean? What are you talking about? Way more abuse happens to kids in single mother households. What? What in comparison to what? In relation to what? just making that, just asserting that, just, well, most of the abuse happens in good families. Like, and then there's what kind of abuse, or even, you're probably broadening the term of abuse to, like, telling them you're not a woman when their son's a man, or like, they're abusing me. And then there's the whole question of what it is for, training us up to be workers, training us to be inhabitants of a binary, gendered, and racially stratified system, training us not to be queer. You're trying to train us to be queer. See, nobody's trying to train anybody not to even be queer. We're just saying, stop pushing all this queer shit on us and making kids who are prone to, I don't know, do shit. Like, a lot of these kids are easily swayed by people like this, especially they're young, they're innocent, and they don't know what they're doing. And then you got these people telling them, oh, well, you probably are a girl, and here, I'll take these drugs, et cetera, right? Like, fuck. You're the one trying to train us, not the other way around. The crucial thing to understand is that motherhood is a very powerful ideological edifice. It's not ideological. It's just natural. It's natural. It's not that there isn't a massive hormonal kick that comes about after conception, particularly during postpartum. There are endocrinal factors that make us high from the experience of caring for our neonates. Okay, fuck, these people are crazy, man. But there is also a hell of a lot of ideology that makes us unable to comprehend that someone might not actually like mothering, and makes us unable to speak in slightly moderate terms about figures like Jocelyn Ortega, the nanny who killed 2 babies in her care in Manhattan. That is the same case that inspired Leila Simini's book, The Perfect Nanny. Even just talking about that excess, that monstrosity at the edge of maternal life, is surprisingly uncomfortable for our culture. But, I don't know. They go on. I'm not going to read the whole fucking thing. Like, that's crazy. But, it's, destroying capitalism is destroying the family. That's one aspect of it. It's pretty clear that they've been doing that for a very long time, but now they've done it very successfully, so they can kind of come out and be honest about it more. They can kind of tell us about it. Let me check the chat here, make sure I didn't miss anything. Questions or nothing. Derp. Remember, some single mothers worked a minimum wage job. Come on, Faye. I'm not talking about, not all. Come on, get out of here. That shit. I'm not saying all single mothers. Is this one of those fake academic papers? No, I don't know. It's just some crazy woman who's being interviewed about her book about trying to abolish capitalism through abolishing the family. And like I was saying, it's pretty clear that that's what they've been doing for a really long time, and it's working. AJ is abusing me right now. Yeah. Well, why not? Well, you fucking you're putting time out, BM. I'm gonna ban you right away, BM. Well, I agree with that. I agree with BM on that aspect. Single mothers are ruining society. I'm kidding. I didn't say get out of here. I meant get out of here with that shit. I just meant, like, I don't mean go. Don't leave me, Faye. Don't leave me. But I mean, I just meant, like, no, obviously my mom, I had a single mother take care of me. So I don't think I'm not saying all single mothers and stuff, but I'm saying that this is they're trying to break up the family. They're trying to create single mothers because they're going to be more likely dependent on the state than if they had a husband that is a contributor, and not all husbands are good men, and a lot of them are not good contributors, and or will beat their wives or do all this other crap, right? But I'm gonna ban Lauren Southern soon. Well said, Ann Coulter. Lack of common sense is ruining white people. Yeah, I don't know what's happened with common sense in society right now. I guess it's in short supply, that's for sure. Trudeau government can't have a single mother without a single father, though. That's true. But we need to hold people accountable more, and it's all about there are lots of red flags before you get in a relationship with somebody, usually, that they're not gonna stick around. Now, these red flags aren't always gonna be there, right? But I think generally a lot of the times, if the guy has a tattoo on his face and he smokes crack and whatever, he's probably not going to stick around and help you raise your kid. So if you weren't raped in that situation, that means that you spread your legs and you let that guy stick his dick in you and come in you. And because you're a woman, you're going to be the one who's going to be impregnated, and you're going to be the one who's going to birth that baby. So you would think that you would take more of a precaution, since it's a lot easier for that guy with a face tattoo who smokes crack to just bail, as opposed to you, that you have a baby in your stomach now, and now you got to take care of it, right? It's going to be a little more difficult. So women have a lot of power in society. That's one thing too, is women have a lot of power in society, and we've kind of taken away their agency, and we say, oh, you're just a child and you didn't know any better. But when it's a guy and he makes mistakes, say, hey, didn't you know that chick was a big whore? Couldn't you tell she was a big whore, dude? You're an idiot. We get told, you're wrong, you're stupid, this and that. Spare the graphic description. No, you want to hear it. But no, it's I lost my train of thought. Man, that's a 60s version of events. Now it's women who bail. Not all. Right, that's true, right? But I'm saying it's but then again, then it's up to the guy. Then, if you're dating a woman who you think is gonna bail or something on you, if she seems flighty, if she's fickle or something, if she seems like a fickle woman, don't stay in a relationship with her and get her pregnant, because maybe she'll leave or something. I don't know. So it's up to both. Everybody needs agency. We all need to hold everybody else accountable for their actions. And women need to choose better men. And then if they choose better men, then we won't have as many low IQ criminals running around raping and assaulting women. Right? I want this for the safety of women. And I'm not saying men have no part. No, I'm not saying I'm putting all blame on women, because it can sound like that. I can totally understand how women could be like, oh, sounds like you're blaming me. But it's like, no, I'm not blaming all women, but I'm just saying that you guys have a lot of power. Don't listen to what the leftists are telling you, that you're oppressed and this and that. Women have had a lot of power throughout all of history. They are the ones that control the man's genetics. Because if a woman, throughout history, women mostly, especially in Western history, in European history, women will choose their mate. They will choose their mate. And even if it's the father choosing the mate for the woman, it's still kind of like choosing. He's going to choose the best one for her, etc. Right? But they've been choosing their mates, selecting their mates through, letting them fuck them. So if women choose to marry aggressive men or have relations with aggressive men for thousands of years, then what you're going to get aggressive dudes. But that's depending, like, if the circumstances call for women to sleep with aggressive men, like back in the day when you needed that, then you would, then that's a good thing. Then that's exactly what they should be doing, because the nature would select for that, right? Because all the women who would sleep with betas, they would get killed by that lion, or they would starve to death, and this and that. And the only ones that would survive would be the ones that were more aggressive and all that other stuff. But it's, people do have a lot of responsibility, and I just see this all the time, is that in media and society and especially in the justice system, is we take away the agency of women. And you see this all the time, like a man and a woman, they commit a crime, and then the woman goes, "Oh, but he manipulated me, and oh my God, oh, I didn't do anything." And then they're like, "Okay, well, we'll give you less time. We'll give you half the time," even though she was probably like, "All right, Danny, shoot him now. Okay, you do this and you kill him for me," because she was like the one behind. Have you guys ever watched ID? If you ever watch ID, you'll see, man, women are crazy, man. Women are insane. No, I'm joking. Don't cross. They'll poison you. That's how women, like, they don't kill you like men will kill you. They'll poison you when you least expect it, or like, I don't know, get their underage boyfriends to beat you up or something. After I don't know. Oh, thank you for the donation, Darren Nielsen. Really appreciate that, man. I really, really do appreciate that. And if you got a question, you want to throw it in the chat whenever you want, and I'll try to get to it and not miss it. But thank you again for the donation, man. Really appreciate it. Women could breed out toxic masculinity if they really wanted. Well, what is toxic masculinity? That's just another word for men being men, and they phrased that as toxic masculinity to try to say it's a bad thing, where it's like, no, it's not a bad thing. Women like that. Women like men. They don't like pussy bitch boys that are going to be like, "Oh, can I touch your shoulder, ma'am? Can I do this? Can I do this for you?" It's like, there is no toxic masculinity. There's pieces of shit. There's creeps. There's scumbags who try to rape and assault women and stuff. But that's not toxic masculinity. Makes no sense. If there's not an opposite term like toxic femininity, then the term doesn't even exist. It makes no sense whatsoever, and I'm not going to give it any type of credence whatsoever, right? Well, I know you're not like putting it right. I know you're saying like, yeah, toxic masculinity, but I'm just trying to make that point that it's it gets brought out like it's a bad thing, right? Toxic masculinity. I'm heartbroken for kids. I can't imagine how much crazy stuff gets thrown at them in school and the world now. Yeah, I'd be terrified to send my kids to some extremely diverse leftist school, right? I don't know what's worse. Maybe like the extremely leftist school might be full of white people though, but then they'll teach your kids, they'll be practically gay. But then you can go to maybe a school that's a little bit less progressive. It's still left, but it'll be full of a bunch of minorities. And then your kid will be bullied because he'll be like one of the only white people there. And all the kids will watch TV and they'll listen to rap music and they'll do all this stuff, which all has messages in it that says, "Oh, white people this, fuck white people, fuck this." So what do you think kids are going to do to minority white kids in the schools coming up in the future? Well, they're going to get fucking bullied. They're going to get attacked. You see what happens to those German kids and shit. And look at, like, they have been completely pussified, right? That they don't even fight back. They don't even retaliate, right? I don't know about how it is in Germany. Maybe they've been completely pussified in that country, but I don't know, man. In Canada, we fight back, man. We don't let people just do shit like that. In Winnipeg or my area, anything like that, like no, you don't just let people do that shit to you, man. If that was happened to me or something, first of all, I would have fought back way harder. And then I have 3 older brothers, and then they got all their friends. Then we would have all came and beat the living shit out of those people. So it's like, you see that shit, and you're like, you see these German kids or this and that, and they're getting bullied and picked on, but you can't blame them, because at the same time they're being brought up in that environment, right? And they're, you look at the testosterone rates for Western men compared to the rest of the world, they're diminishing drastically, and this is all by design. They want our birth rates to fall. They want our testosterone to fall. They constantly portray white men as being weak, stupid, whatever, and they portray black guys or other people as being like strong, masculine in the media. So then white women get more attracted to them as opposed to white men. So that's just, it's all in there, right? And then they're wondering, oh, why are there's all these incels? A lot of them are white and shit, right? Well, of course that's gonna happen, right? My kids will be ready. But yeah, you don't want to send your kids to a battleground. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to have your kids ready. Make sure they know how to fight. Obviously, have your kids prepared. Make sure they're not bitches and shit. But at the same time, if they're completely outnumbered in a school and they're completely outnumbered, then it's like, I'm not saying it'll be completely hell there, and maybe it'll be all right, and they can make it through there and stuff like that. But one black kid in a school is going to be picked on way less than one white kid in like a black school or this or that, right? It's not the same. People will think like, oh, that one, I had like a couple black kids in my school, right? There's like a couple, right? There's a few black kids in my school. And you know what? Nobody was racist to them. Nobody said anything racist. Maybe they perceived a couple things, but they never complained about anything. I never saw anybody say, call them the N-word, anything like that. Nothing. But I hear lot, but like the diverse school down the street, the English school, because I went to a French school, and more of the diverse schools, that's where all the fucking violence happened. What do you mean you live in Winnipeg? I don't know. I get, you sound like my ex-girlfriend. You sound like my fucking ex-girlfriend. I swear to God. But that's why I think I asked you at one point. I'm like, are you this person? Because you sound exact. I'm pretty sure. Are you a woman, BM? Just curious. Well, I'm not gonna potentially fuck up my channel by saying some shit, man. But also, I don't like saying fucking the N word, whatever, a lot, anyways. Just because, I'm like, whatever. I don't need to be like, I'm gonna be fucking edgy, blah blah, fucking nigger, yada 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 yada, right? Let me check the chat here. Schools don't teach you how to produce, how to succeed. Canadian, it's shocking. Christian schools are big down here. My God, that would be a place I would send them. Don't make the black kids angry. Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, I saw a video the other day of a bunch of black kids. They went to this white girl's home and beat up their mother, beat up her mother and the kid because the mother was trying to protect the kid. And you see all these black kids like kicking them and punching them like, oh, you fucking. And then there's a mom and a dad like they're filming it and they put it on Facebook Live, right? So I'm saying like this, see, this is what your kids are going to go through. And you know what? Nothing is going to happen. But in Toronto, there's this little black girl that apparently was bullied by a white kid. And now the principal and the vice principal, I think, have like went on leave for a little while, all this shit. And they're like, oh, now we need to discuss racism in school and how we're going to address this because clearly, oh my God, right? So it's like, this is fucking stupid. BM, you're the incel, man. You're fucking, aren't you Jewish? Okay, well, let me check out some more stories here. One sec. Just loading this. It's not loading. Okay, one sec here. I love his channel too. We grew up rural, 2 farm kids. Winnipeg is geographic center of North America. Yeah, we are the geographic center, but that's why we're always completely ignored and forgotten. One sec here. Let me share the screen. One moment, guys. It's just a little bit loady, a little bit. Come on, load. All right, there we go. So government performance reviews canceled because Trudeau failed to fund auditors properly. So of course he just, why would they have a government performance reviews before an election? So of course he's not going to fund it properly, just so we don't get proper numbers. But this is just consistent with what Trudeau does, and just a slime ball. But you know, it's, I wouldn't expect anything different. But this is not going to get any coverage. But what are their reviews going to say anyways? Yeah, he's doing a piss poor job, but then they'll just spin it around and say, oh, well, actually, look at the job numbers. What's this here? 2 Ontario teens nearly overdose on drugs they believed was marijuana. So this is something people got to watch out for now. This joint that these 2 kids smoked was laced with like opioids or something, and they thought that it was just weed, right? I guess somebody sold them a rolled joint, but who the fuck would sell somebody opioids and shit in a joint? Like, are you just trying to kill them? Like, what the fuck? You know, maybe that is what's going on, right? Maybe people are spiking the drugs, or I don't know, maybe it was just a prank on somebody, on their buddy, perhaps. Somebody's calling me. Stop calling me right now. Fuck off. So 18-year-old involved in Ontario explosive bust was on the cusp of radicalization. Shortly after the father and son from Richmond arrested for possessing fucking Jesus Christ. Get the fucking message. I'm not answering it. Shortly after the father and son from Richmond arrested for possessing explosive materials were granted bail by an Ontario judge, investigators revealed that the younger suspect was on the cusp of radicalization. Despite these findings, Minister of Public Affairs Ralph Goodell announced shortly after the arrest that he believed the event posed no threat to national security. So they find a bunch of explosives in the anarchist cookbook and various terrorism-related activities. You know, in this guy's home, all this crap, hazardous material, explosive materials. When they conducted a search warrant, red phosphorus, mercury, ammonium. Oh my God, nitrate. Like, the father and son were arrested after authorities received a tip from Canadian and U.S. border officials. So, how the fuck do the border officials have the information on them? Like, I guess they traveled to America and came back and maybe it set off some flags. Maybe they went and met some people in America, I don't know, to discuss what they were going to do. But how is this not a national security problem, right? Like, they removed Shia, Sunni, and some other Sikh terrorism from the Canada whatever guy, and they want to replace it with like white supremacy and white whatever. And you're like, this is insane. And this is gonna get memory hold, where this should be a big fucking deal. But oh no, don't worry, people, don't worry. They were just building bombs. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see. Don't pay attention. Don't pay attention to this. Canada, Afghan Memorial. I think I got most of public ban from seeing school shooting. Oh yeah. That's what I was going to put up there earlier. So apparently we're not allowed to see much of the case of that transgender shooting that happened with that transgender dude. So public ban. Well, this is actually a girl, apparently, I think. Devin Erickson, 18, and Alec McKinney, 16, opened fire on 2 classrooms at Science, Technology, Engineering, Math, STEM charter schools in Highland Ranch, Colorado on May 7th, killing 1 student and injuring 8. 16-year-old Alec McKinney identifies as male but is biologically female, having been born Maya whatever. So this is a woman. Posted anti-Christian and anti-Trump messages on social media while praising former President Barack Obama, right? And see, like, I'm not going to be like the left and be like, oh, see, he was inspired by Barack Obama. Blah, 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 blah. But he was definitely inspired by the media constantly pushing this anti-Christian, anti-Trump narrative that he's going to overturn Roe v. Wade and he's going to force women to have pregnancies, or he's going to, I don't know, kill all the gays and the minorities, blah, 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 blah. Like, people believe a lot of ridiculous shit. And it's just a matter of time before one of these people on these transgender drugs goes cuckoo. Kill some fucking people, but whatever. This Trudeau pushed leak. Or what are you doing here? Trudeau pushed for leak investigation that led to breach of trust charge against Norman. So the RCMP investigation that led to a criminal charge against Vice Admiral Mark Norman was set in motion by Prime Minister Trudeau, who was furious at the leak of classified cabinet deliberations involving a $700 million naval supply ship contract, sources say. Leaks of confidential information are common in Ottawa, but rarely does the Prime Minister get involved in summoning the RCMP, right? So leaks, like this says, happen all the time in Ottawa. They're like, this is leaky Ottawa. And never before has like the RCMP pretty much been called in to like investigate, and like to this extent for such a minor fucking leak, the minor thing. The leaks happen all the time. Imagine if they went after every fucking leak like this. There would be nobody in Ottawa. This sends a powerful signal throughout the government, which sources say may have accounted for the energy and effort the RCMP invested in a 2-year probe of Vice Admiral Norman. So they heard about Trudeau being mad, and this is why they went and acted. But rarely does the prime minister get involved in some of the RCMP to investigate. This sends a powerful signal throughout the government, which sources say may have accounted for the energy. So just because he summoned, because it's rare for anybody to summon the RCMP to investigate, they're saying this is why they just went gung ho on Vice Admiral to Admiral Norman, right? Sources who were granted anonymity to speak frankly about what went on prior to the RCMP investigation told the Globe and Mail that Mr. Trudeau was frustrated and angry that a cabinet decision had been leaked to the CBC in late 2015. Mr. Trudeau wanted to find out who was responsible that the percolated through the Privy Council office, sources said. The alleged leak sprang from November 19th, 2015 meeting of Liberal cabinet ministers who decided to postpone the naval supply ship project Chantier Davy shipyard in Quebec City after receiving a letter of complaint from Irving Shipbuilding, which already had a multi-billion-dollar contract to build a fleet of warships for the Navy of Halifax. So, you know, it's like you're just double dipping, you fucking greedy bastards. You already have a contract with Halifax to build their warship. No, we want to build this. But you know what? If they would have done, they wanted to reopen the bidding, okay? And that would have taken 30 months. That would have opened it up for like almost 3 more years that we wouldn't have a functioning Navy, because without a cargo ship to resupply your ships, you pretty much just have a coastal Navy force. You can't send your Navy to pretty much even protect your waters, essentially, at that point. People, you know how much crime and people are going to be coming in and through the waters and whatnot, because, yeah, like, we're not going to be able to supply our ships. So getting the contract done by the Davy shipyard was going to do it right away. It was going to be under budget, on time, and we were going to get it done by like 2018 or something. But then they go and slow it all down, and you know, it was going to go until like 2020 potentially, right? And they're trying to open up the bids again. They're like, oh, it's not fair, blah blah. And you know, it's just ridiculous that it's just so, it shows you how much sway and that these companies have over our politicians, how easily they're able, they just sell us out, right? And yeah, it cost a lot more money now because of the huge delays. However, once it became known that Vice Admiral Norman was the key RCMP suspect, Mr. Trudeau predicted. He predicted in 2017. He didn't. You mean he directed in 2017 that the naval commander would end up in court, as he denied politically interfering in the matter. So, he's going to end up in court, even though he's denying it. I know he's guilty, because even though it was a Liberal cabinet minister, or they were having a Liberal cabinet meeting with cabinet ministers, so Mark Norman wouldn't even have been there. So you're thinking somebody leaked to him, then he leaked to them afterwards, I guess? Well, why don't you get the first person who leaks from your cabinet? The Prime Minister office acknowledged on Thursday that Mr. Trudeau cabinet ministers were upset at the sensitive leak, but said the decision to call the RCMP was made by then Privy Council clerk Janice Charette. So you know, this is why it's good why all these people step down all the time. So yeah, then they just like don't get questioned afterwards. Leaks of a cabinet confidence are extremely concerning and serious, blah blah blah. Cabinet leaks are typically investigated by PCO security operations, but rarely turned over to the RCMP for criminal investigations. In most cases, it is difficult to find the leaker, and the PCO sends out a memo reminding people of the sanctity of cabinet confidences. So this is what usually happens. They're just like, when a leak happens, they're just like, hey guys, don't do it again. Hey guys, don't do it again, guys. But this time Trudeau's like, find me the leaker and make him pay. Like, Mr. Trudeau desired to find out who was behind the cabinet leak, was supported by then Treasury Board President Scott Bryson, who had urged cabinet to review the Davie shipyard contract. According to the cabinet colleague, Mr. Bryson, who left government in January, told RCMP, see, they all leave government. January told RCMP investigators that the leak prevented cabinet from conducting a proper analysis of the Chantier Davie project as political pressure mounted in Quebec City for Ottawa to keep a naval contract in place. So, they didn't allow us to do a proper analysis, man. Find these people and make them pay. One insider with knowledge of what transpired said the fact that Prime Minister was so ticked at the leak empowered the RCMP to pop the clutch and go full steam ahead with the criminal investigation. Well, yes. See, there was no political interference. They're just like, whoa, he's mad. Well, we really got to find this guy. You see how mad Trudeau was? He was fuming. He was fuming in there. On reflection, the source said Mrs. Charette and Mr. Fadden should have tried to make an arrangement with Mr. Paulson to have the RCMP try to find the leaker without launching a full-scale criminal investigation. This would have avoided the lengthy investigation and prosecution of Vice Admiral Normans. Whoopsie. Oopsie doopsie. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we could have just, we didn't need to bring you through this whole lengthy. We could have avoided all of this. Oops, sorry, guys. We're sort of wasting your time. On Thursday, Liberal MPs in the Common National Defence Committee voted down attempts by the opposition to hold an inquiry into the Norman matter, including having Vice Admiral Norman testify. Well, obviously, right? Like, that's not a surprise. They would, I would never expect them to vote for it, right? Liberal MP Julie, whatever her name is, said to the committee that the opposition motion requesting an inquiry was a fabricated partisan exercise. Oh, you gotta love these. You gotta love liberals. You gotta love them to some extent. Just they're blatant, like they just don't give a shit. They just don't give a shit. Doesn't matter. And you're like, okay, well, I gotta respect that for, I guess, a little bit. No one at AJ Elicits complete bullshit. I couldn't read the chat there for a little while, but let me see here. What bother we had? No, yeah. Oh, BM's gay, man. He's definitely gay. You've been following me for a long time. You just can't get enough. I've treated him like shit, but he keeps coming back like a girlfriend that's beat or something. It's like I'm like, you're a piece of shit. I blocked him, whatever, but he just keeps coming back. He loves it, man. He loves it. He's like a abused girlfriend. Trudeau being mad and fuming, really scary. I know, right? They must have been terrified of Trudeau. He's probably turning over, flipping tables, and all that crap, man. Oh man, I would have been freaking. Bryson is a crook. That's why he stepped down. I think Norman should tell his story now. There. Ban them like a bad rash. Yeah, you're hidden. Is the barge full of diapers sitting in Manila? We need a war to unite people. My Filipino friend said he is on our side. Yeah, I know. I found some Filipinos. They're pretty cool, man. They're down. If Julie has a big yawn on her next video, we will know. My ex, and now he's so fucking mad. What did you type to your ex there? Did AJ just yawn? Because I'm pretty sure that's a white supremacy sign. Yeah, I did. Did I yawn? Yeah, I'm getting pretty tired. I'm probably going to end this right away pretty soon. Don't make me yawn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I won't yawn. Sealed by a judge. 42 is young. Fine old. No, I just hid BM from my channel. I just hid him from my channel. I'll probably unhide him soon, but honestly, I'm just like whatever. I just don't even want to read his shit right now, so I'm just gonna hide him. Oh well. You can come bitch at me on my Discord about it later, BM. Did anyone see the video of Jody Wilson reboot saying Trudeau hurled racist insults at her? Really? I didn't see that video. There's a video of that? You should send me the link. No, he didn't really do. Sometimes I just feel like banning some people. Then I'm just like, I'm gonna ban you. Call me a anti-free speech person. I don't give a shit. Whatever. I don't care. I don't care. I banned him. Yawning is white supremacy, like chairs are white supremacy. Everything is white supremacy. Have you guys seen that meme on Twitter where it's like white people do that? Okay, I'm gonna find that. Because it's what do you call it? Okay, it's Orwell and Good. I'm actually on his thing right now, anyways. But he's got those things usually. There's so many things that people just find to bitch about what white people do. It's like white people camping and why it's racist. White people this and why it's bad. White people this. Here, let's see here. Here, like, look, like, check it out. Like, this is what I mean, right? This is what I mean. So white people love hiking, minorities don't. Here's why. The New Republic. Like, the unreliable whiteness of the American left, from education to gun control. See, this is The Nation. That's where I read that other fucking thing. Progressive movements need to do a better job empowering the people whose interests they claim to serve. Gary Youngs. The unbearable whiteness of milk. Food oppression and the USDA. Food oppression. Milk does a body good? Does it? Well, yeah, if you're fucking European, most likely. Structural and they're like, well, how come all the food guys are directed towards white people? Because we made up the majority of these countries. That's why. Structural and cultural analysis of the USD's promotion of the dairy industry. Challenges facing USD, a multi-role agency, federal dietary guidelines. Nutritional racism, healthism, biomedical individualism and biological race, healthism, biomedical, like what? Whiteness of food culture, fast food and food desserts, legal strategies. That's the conclusion. Legal strategies. Like, what are you gonna do legally? But yeah, you got these journalists going after fucking white people. This craft beer forces you to confront white supremacy. Just pure nonsense. But this guy, like I said, follow him on Twitter. He's pretty funny. He's got a lot of good tweets. Feminist school punishes boy by curtailing their recess on International Women's Day. So, you empower women by putting boys down, by pushing boys down. That's what they do. For trans people, gender swap photo filters are no mere game. See, look at that. I'll save you the bother of having to watch this. He murdered 2 women and 2 kids. So, this is like now this progressive leftist, thing on Twitter where they're like, they're going to kill this man after they just voted for abortions. He's got this gay music.
All human life is precious.
Except for this pedophile who killed 2 people. This pedophile is going to get killed, guys. Or murder or whatever. He murdered 2 adults and 2 kids. Okay, I don't know what they're trying to do. Make you feel sorry for him? Like, no, but that very few people that's going to work on. Very, very few people. What is this? If I were a father and had a daughter who became a prostitute, I should not despair over her. I would continue to hope for her salvation. But if I had a son who became a journalist and continued to be one for 5 years, I would give him up. Kierkegaard. I don't know who that is. This is the UK. Former Territorial Army male soldier, 28, becomes Britain's first transgender Muslim woman. Is now married. Emily Ratajkowski rides around in spaghetti in the name of feminism. You know, that's where I saw that one story here. South Africa, looting a truck. Why is the North on top of the map? 2 words. White Europeans. There is absolutely no reason the North should be on top of maps. Aside from the oppression and dehumanization of Africans and people of color by white people. Fucking white people in their maps and north and south and east and west. Fucking white people. Obese transgender man admitted to hospital with stomach pains. Turns out to be pregnant. Oh my God. When is it okay to gesture? When somebody who is an establishment stooge. This is a good little meme here. It's like, yes, of course I'm pro-choice. I've had 2 abortions myself. I didn't feel like having kids, and I don't regret it at all. Yes, of course I'm vegan. I do it for the animals. I just don't like the idea of taking an innocent life for our own selfish reasons. Oh, God. Non-citizens commit 42% of federal crimes despite being 7% of the population. I like this too. Like here, this is owned by Qatar, where they throw gays off a roost, but they're like, "Hey, America, Snapchat is being mean to trannies." Have you guys heard about this? Healthcare worker tied to 1,000 unexplained deaths of elderly patients in Texas is charged with smothering 12 women to death with a pillow. And this guy was like an illegal alien, I'm pretty sure. Or like unexplained deaths. Or I can't remember if he's a legal alien, but either way. A lot of messed up shit. It's funny. Real shit niggas create real niggas. Real niggas be straight chillin'. Straight chillin' make bitch niggas. Bitch niggas start some real shit. It's like, there we go. That's true. That's how you get it. Get people understand that shit, right? But yeah, you know, I think that's you know, I don't want to get pretty late. Getting pretty late, guys. Let me check out the chat one more time here. If Joan of Arc were alive today, feminists would hate her. Of course they would. AJ has BM in a closet. That's BM. BM's in the pit. AJ's basement. Your lack of caring is why we are here, AJ. BM's place, lotion basket. Yeah, BM, get in the hole, BM, and put the lotion on the skin. Put the lotion on the skin, and maybe I'll let you out of the hole again. Why do a lot of ugly chicks have nose rings? I don't know. It's to distract from their ugliness. They want you to. It's like a tassel on an end of a spear to try to distract the enemy. You know, when you're fighting them, it's like, you know, you're distracted by the tassel and you get speared, right? I don't know. It's a distraction. Yeah, BM. Everybody shit on BM while he's not here. So he has to read it in the chat, but he can't do anything about it. And he can't respond. And he's probably watching it, and he's probably like, "Ah, you fucking asshole. God damn it. Everyone going after white people because they want to be us." Yeah, I don't know. I think there's some jealousy to some aspect. I don't know if they want to be us, but I don't know. The race Trudeau link won't paste. No. So you can put a leash on them. Let me see if I missed anything a little bit up. AJ is homophobic. Yeah. Like to see that video as well. Just gotta beat people with sticks. We used to go outside and beat people with sticks. Well, that's a good pastime, I guess, It's for fun on a weekend. You got some time, you just beat some people with some sticks. But I think I'm gonna cut it short, guys, or end it right now. It's been a good couple hours, but thank you for joining me, and I hope you all have a great night. Take it easy, guys. See ya.